Hi, this is the how to build it video for the Do-It-Yourself Resources tripod. This video is solely meant to show the steps to build the tripod, and other information can be found in the technical information video and the parts video. Our first step in building the tripod is to get all of the parts cut to their proper dimensions. It is most efficient to go by material, so let's start with PVC. You want to grab your 1-inch PVC and measure out 3 sections of 20-inch length for the legs of the tripod. Bring your PVC over to the side of your workbench, clamp it down firmly, and then cut it with your coping saw. At the end of this, you should have 3 20-inch sections of 1-inch diameter PVC. Next, grab your 1/2-inch PVC and measure out 4 sections of 15-inch length for the leg extensions and also for the tripod stand pole. Clamp and cut the PVC just like you did before, and you should end up with 4 20-inch sections of 1/2-inch diameter PVC. Still using the 1/2-inch PVC, measure a 3.5-inch section of PVC for the phone attachment. Cut the section and then get your Dremel tool out with the reinforced bit and get it ready to go so you can now cut the piece in half. Clamp down one side of the 3.5-inch piece and then follow the technique that I showed in the video to successfully cut the piece in half, lengthwise. Next material that we're going to work with is our 1/4-inch diameter wooden dowel. First, you're going to want to be making rods that attach to the leg stabilizer component. Measure out and cut 3 4-inch sections of the dowel. Next, to make the pins that allow the legs to rotate, you want to cut 3 3-inch sections of dowel. Finally, cutting a 5-inch piece finishes your use with the dowel, and it allows you to make the phone attachment's movement axis. At the end, you should have 3 4-inch dowels, 3 3-inch dowels, and 1 5-inch dowel. The next material to cut is our particle board. First, we're going to make all of the 3-inch by 3-inch squares for our attachment bases. In total, you'll need to make 5 of those 3-inch by 3-inch squares. So, in order to do this quickly and efficiently, make a 15-inch by 3-inch grid on the particle board using a right angle ruler and mark the grid out with a pencil. Use your coping saw and use my efficient cutting technique. Second, our job is to create the circle that is needed for the leg stabilizer component. You can use a roll of duct tape, and this allows you to trace out a nice 3-inch diameter circle, and you should best do this near the edge of the particle board so that you can minimize your waste. Use the coping saw to cut the circle, and be prepared to change the angle of the blade if necessary to allow your cutting to go smoothly. The last cut with the particle board is the most difficult cut and probably one of the most difficult parts of the project. To create the tripod base plate, draw yourself an 8-inch equilateral triangle, or essentially just a triangle where all the sides are the same. You're going to need to measure 2 inches from each of the corners of the triangle and then draw a line between your 2 marks. This should get you a nice looking hexagon where you can then measure 1/2 inch from each edge of the hexagon, just as I did, and create a rectangle 1 inch wide and 1.5 inches long within the hexagon. If you look at my video, it is not incredibly difficult to do. I may provide a template, and I will provide a template for you on this project page. But this method creates a block where there are 3 slots for our tripod legs that are all 120 degrees apart, and this is perfect for a tripod. As an additional step to the last cut, use one of the scrap pieces of particle board that you created cutting the base plate out to create 2 1-inch tall by 1.5 inch wide rectangular pieces, and these will be used on the phone attachment. Our final material that we're going to want to cut is the steel rails. The rails are tough and require use of tin snips, or if you don't have the tin snips, then you can make use of a Dremel tool with the reinforced cutting bit. The rails are meant to allow our leg stabilizer to move up and down and thus changing the spread of the tripod's legs. Trim the rails to 9 inches long and then bend out the sides of the rails so that they're approximately square. And you can use the original shape of the rails as your guide for this. With all of our cut parts, you can now assemble these parts into the tripod. The major components of the tripod are the legs, the base plate, the stabilizer, and the attachments. We'll begin by assembling the legs. First, we need to drill the holes necessary for allowing different extension settings on our telescoping legs, and then we need to make the holes for the dowel pin that allow the legs to rotate. To make our life easier creating the telescoping holes, draw a straight line along each of the pieces of 1-inch PVC by placing the PVC on the bench and drawing the line, while making sure that neither the PVC or the marker are rolling. This ensures a straight line. Next, for each of the pieces of 1-inch PVC, place the end of your measuring tape 1/2 inch from the end of the PVC and then mark dots along the line at 4-inch intervals. These holes will serve as guides for your drilling. Once all the pieces of PVC are marked, drill holes in each spot using a 1/4 inch drill bit. Try to drill through only 1/2 of the PVC, meaning do not go all the way through both sides. After dealing with the 1-inch PVC, you want to grab 3 of the 15-inch long 1/2 inch PVC pieces that you cut previously, and you want to drill one hole at the end of the PVC with the 1/4 inch drill bit, about a 1/2 inch from the end. After the hole is drilled, draw a line down the PVC where the hole is using the technique that you used before. This line will serve as a guide so that you know what orientation the rod is when telescoping the legs. Next, we need to change drill bits to the 3/8 inch diameter bit and drill the pinhole. Take your 1-inch diameter PVC pieces and drill a hole a 1/2 inch from the end through both walls of the PVC. This hole should be perpendicular or at right angles to the holes that you drilled with a 4-inch separation earlier. We now want to create a tight fit for the telescoping legs. Since we will be combining the 1-inch PVC and the 1/2 inch PVC, we need to do something to increase the diameter of the 1/2 inch PVC. Paper works great for this. What I do is stack 5 sheets of paper and then cut the sheet in half. In total, you'll need 3 half sheets of 5 stacked paper. I then roll the piece of paper around the 1/2 inch PVC beneath the hole that was drilled. You're going to tape the paper roll around the pipe and then attempt to place the pipe in the 1-inch PVC. If the fit is tight and it's supported properly, the pipe should not wiggle around. To get a proper fit, if yours does not work, either remove the paper and start again without so many sheets, or add tape and see if it will get a better fit. To finish the leg assembly, you need to apply the rails to the legs. To do this, you're going to be applying hot glue to the rails and sticking them on the legs. Warm your glue up and prep the rails for application. I found with experience that applying a piece of duct tape to the rails allows for a better adhesion. Also, make sure to sand the PVC so that you can create a better bonding surface. It is important to note that the rails must be placed on the legs perpendicular to the 3/8 inch pinholes. They also should be on the opposite side of the 4-inch separated telescoping holes. If you make an error, you will definitely find out when you're trying to place the leg stabilizer on the rails. You can fix this by removing the rails and placing them on again in the right position. Now we want to create the leg stabilizer. Grab your 4-inch dowels that you cut earlier and your particle board circle. The leg stabilizer has 3 limbs that are to be spread out at 120-degree angles from each other. To accomplish this, I first marked the center of the circle and then glued the first dowel down with the end on the center. The next 2 dowels can be placed by approximating the angle. Just be sure that they're spaced evenly and you should be fine. You can always try again if you make an error. The leg stabilizer is not complete without some end piece on the dowels, such that they can slide in the rails without coming out. A good solution to this, using materials that you already have, is to cut a piece off of the end of a hot glue stick. I use my tin snips, but this can also be accomplished with a pair of scissors. Try to snip a maximum of a 1/4 inch off of the end of the glue stick, or else it will be too thick for the rails. Cut 3 pieces and Cut 3 pieces and then glue them onto the end of the dowels. Try it out on the rails to see if they slide. If they don't, your problem is either that the glue is too thick or that the rails are clamping down on your dowel. For the first, you can cut a new end piece, or for the second, use pliers to widen the gap of the rails. With the leg stabilizer assembled and working properly, you are now ready to finish the bottom half of the tripod. Grab the 3-inch dowels that you cut earlier, the tripod base plate, duct tape, and a 332-inch drill bit. You will be creating the pins that allow the leg rotation. To prevent the pins from splitting while being drilled through, wrap the pins in duct tape by taking a 3-inch long piece and placing the dowel on the edge. Roll the dowel and the duct tape should wrap evenly around the dowel. Repeat this for the next 3 dowels. To attach the pins to the tripod base plate, I used a unique clamping technique and drilled holes through both the dowel and the base plate using a 332-inch drill bit. The clamping technique entails clamping the base on one of its sides such that the part which you need to drill is facing up. You then place the dowel on top of the base and use another clamp next to it to hold it down. With these holes drilled, you can now attach the legs with the stabilizer to the base plate. It's rewarding to see this come together, but for now you should leave the base plate alone and not attach the legs. The next step is to glue the tripod headstand onto the tripod base plate. You're going to need to create a wide hole to allow the remaining 15-inch long, half-inch diameter PVC to be attached. To do this, I found the center of the base and then used my drill with a 3/8-inch drill bit to create a pilot hole for a more crude instrument. I used a knife to finish up the hole, testing the diameter every once in a while to ensure a good fit. Try to keep the hole as straight as possible or else your tripod stand will lean, making for a bad camera angle. Finally, once the hole is wide enough to allow the PVC to slide freely, use some hot glue and secure it inside of the hole. The tripod headstand attaches to the attachment base by use of a number 8 2-inch long screw. I first drilled through one wall of the half-inch PVC with a 3/8-inch drill bit, and then I went through the other side with a 332-inch drill bit. This created a pilot hole for the screw and gave us access to the screw in the center of the PVC so that you can screw it in. Keep your 332-inch drill bit in your drill and grab one of the 3-inch by 3-inch squares to be your attachment base. Drill a hole in the center of one of the sides of the square and then screw your number 8 2-inch long screw into the attachment base through the PVC. To make a stronger connection and to prevent rotation of the attachment base, use some hot glue on the sides of the PVC. All that's left to finish off the tripod is to build the attachment for the tripod. Grab 4 pieces of 3-inch by 3-inch particle board and your hinges. To mount the hinges to the particle board, I grouped 2 pieces with a rubber band and chose straight sides to pair together. With the pieces held by a rubber band, it makes it much easier to work with. Hold the bracket up to the particle board such that it lies flat, and then mark the holes with a marker. You can do the same thing for the next pair of 2, and then drill holes for the mounting screws with a 332-inch drill bit. You should have 2 hinged pairs of particle board. The most complex attachment is the phone attachment, and this will use your 2 small blocks of particle board that you cut, the half-cut 3.5-inch long pieces of PVC, and your 5-inch long dowel. Take your small particle board blocks and then mark the center of the block for drilling. After the block is marked, clamp the 2 pieces down and drill through the center of the block slowly using a 3/8-inch drill bit. This part takes some dexterity, and be prepared to make a mistake. If you do, simply cut new blocks and do it again. The 3/8-inch hole in the small blocks allows for the blocks to slide on the 5-inch dowel, which will act as an access for the phone clamp. After the blocks are created, you then want to glue your 3.5-inch long pieces of half-cut PVC to them. To do this easily, place both pieces of material on the table and then glue them together such that the PVC walls are pointed upwards. You can apply a small amount of glue on the top of the PVC for stability, wait for it to dry, and then apply more on the bottom of the PVC. To do this for both pieces, you're going to create a bottom and a top for the clamp. You now have the phone clamp created, So glue it to the hinged particle board pieces such that the phone is near the hinge facing outwards. Attaching a rubber band to this assembly totally finishes off the clamp. An optional extra is to apply a line of hot glue on the clamp, as this will increase the holding friction of the clamp by a significant amount, preventing falling. To create the camera attachment, all you need to do is glue the appropriate size screw to the remaining hinged particle board pair. The size screw I used is a 1/4 inch diameter, 20 thread per inch, 1/2 inch long screw. The 20 thread per inch is a standard for all camera threads, and this is the most important part of the attachment. After this is made, assembly of the tripod is possible, and this will be talked about in the next video. So thank you for watching the how-to section.